What's good, creative fam? Brandon Washington here, and I'm super excited to be doing this video because I've actually been wanting to do this video for quite a while. So the other day, actually the day it came out, I picked up this guy here, which is the brand new iPhone 11 Pro. I didn't go with the Max because it's just too big, but I went with the 11 Pro, primarily because of that wide angle lens. And the whole reason why I wanted to pick it up was because I wanted to shoot with that wide angle lens in a couple different scenarios, but one of the biggest ones being doing real estate video. Now, a lot of you guys know that I shoot a lot of real estate video. It's a way that I make my living. It's a way I kind of grind this out and do this hustle. But real estate video has been really hard to do from the phone for a long time because of the lack of that wide angle lens. Well, I've tried other lenses like the Moment lenses and just like some other ones like Sandmark, and the problem that I have with all of those is if you want to use the lens on the camera and a gimbal, you then have to use a counterweight, which pretty much defeats the whole purpose. And the reason why I say it defeats the whole purpose is because, well, first of all, you want to go light if you're using your phone. And if you're having to bring the phone, a lens, a counterweight for the gimbal, and then the gimbal itself, it really does defeat the whole purpose of going lightweight. At that point, you might as well just bring out a camera and a gimbal. So I've decided that today I'm gonna be testing out shooting the iPhone 11 Pro with its wide angle lens with just the Dji Osmo 3, which is the brand new mobile gimbal from DJI. And this reason why I went with that one is primarily because it seems to be the only one that can actually use the wide angle lens without getting the motor in the shot. So I've been testing out the two for a couple days now, and I'm excited to finally test this out. So we're gonna be shooting this house right over here. This is actually a 1.3 or 1.7, somewhere in there. I know it's a pretty big gap when it comes to money, but it's a pretty big house, and it's a really, really nice house. And so one of the realtors that I shoot for allowed me to come in and shoot this house for you guys so we can test out just how good this iPhone camera with this gimbal setup can really be. This really is a nice house. So quick pro tip when you show up to these houses, first thing you do, get in here and turn on all the lights. There we go. Much better. All right, so for this video, we are going to just be using this guy here, which is the Dji Osmo Mobile 3. And I love the fact that it just like packs down into this like super small little setup. Well, that shouldn't come out, but this is it. There's your gimbal. It's everything you need to start filming. And then I'm going to obviously be using my iPhone 11 Pro. So got that there, 3 cameras. We're gonna be shooting everything pretty much with the wide angle lens, unless we get some detail shots, but I think almost everything will be shot with the wide angle lens. And the whole reason why I wanted to do this quick little setup is because of how simple this is. I mean, literally you just kind of clip your phone in here, and then there is like a little minor balancing you have to do, but it's really simple. You kind of just like hold this motor here, and if it leans too far that way, then you kind of push your phone back. Your phone goes too far the other way, you lean it the other way, and then you get it to a point where it's like that, and it's balanced, perfect. And now I will just go ahead and power this thing on. And you'll see that it works in vertical mode like this. So if you want to do like Instagram stories, this is really cool. Or if you click the mode button twice, boom, now it's shooting in vertical. And this is how we're gonna be shooting all of the real estate stuff right now. One other thing about this gimbal is it does come with like a little tripod thing that you can screw into the bottom. I'm gonna do that so that way when I'm like not wanting to hold this thing, I can easily set it down. Clearly, as you can see, it's not the easiest thing to screw in. There we go. But it comes with this. The only thing I don't like about this tripod is there's not a spot for it in this case. I figure they were trying to make this case as small as possible, but you can't fit the gimbal and the tripod in the case at the same time, or at least I haven't figured it out. Maybe they expect you to put it in this little bungee section back here, possibly, but it really doesn't flow well there. So I end up just sliding it in my pocket. Not a big deal, but just something to keep in mind. But now, let's go ahead and start shooting this video because I'm excited to see what this wide angle lens looks like in this house, because this is a nice, big, bright house, which is a big thing when shooting with phones. They need a lot of light. So you definitely can't have a really dark house. I don't think that would work really well. There'd be a lot of noise, but I'm gonna stop rambling. Let's start shooting. Okay, so that last shot makes no sense whatsoever. So y'all saw, I actually pointed the camera directly at the phone and walked with it, primarily thinking I'm gonna get that shot and then have to reshoot it again in order to actually get like a really good stable one, because I'm trying to hold two cameras, filming the phone with a real camera, and the shot still turned out super smooth. Like, the software is doing something crazy, better than, honestly, Warp Stabilizer I think might be the best stabilizing software out there in an editor, but the phone and what it's doing in phone is absolutely, like, it's rivaling Warp Stabilizer right now. I honestly can't believe that shot is actually usable. Like, it's a good shot. Shot, I actually switched to the normal wide lens, not the ultra wide, but the normal wide angle lens, so I could get a detailed shot of that, I don't know what you call that thing. What is it? Whatever you call that thing. So I could get a detailed shot of it, and it still looks great. I mean, no matter which camera I'm using at this point, whether it's the ultra wide, the wide, or even the telephoto, everything looks really good on this phone. 4K 60, everything is perfect. Alright, so now it is time for probably the hardest part, and that is going to be shooting the exterior of this house. Typically when I shoot the exterior of a house, I use a drone, so I don't normally get a whole lot of shots from the ground, but because I want to shoot this entire thing on the iPhone, I'm gonna have to get creative on how I present this house from the outside. So without further ado, let's get some exterior shots. Hopefully they turn out pretty good. Alright, so I think that shot's pretty good, but I'm going to try to do a reveal shot from behind this pillar here and see what that looks like. Alright, time for the final shot. I'm just gonna get the backyard really quick. There's a pretty decent sized pool back here, so grab that for the video, and that should be it. I mean, I'm blown away. This is a dangerous combo right here. This really is. This is a seriously dangerous combo. Right now, I've got the phone outside with the Osmo Mobile 3 doing a motion time lapse. and I just want to kind of put all my thoughts into one place really quick while that's going for at least the next 5 minutes. But this setup is so dangerous, and what I mean by dangerous is it's so good that I honestly think for the first time, and I know I've said it a lot, like if you want to start filming, just start with your phone, but realistically, for the very first time, this might be a setup that is worth charging for. And that's kind of totally different. So what I mean by that is typically, like, a lot of people say that gear doesn't matter and it shouldn't stop you from starting, which is true. If you're learning, if you are trying to get into like the process of actually like picking up a camera and using it and editing and everything else, nothing should hold you back, especially with as good as phones have been. But with this wide angle lens and this gimbal, you can legitimately charge people for work that you shot on your phone, because I do think that the end product is that good. Now, will all clients be okay with you coming out filming on your phone? Probably not. But if you can get into a field where, you know, you're doing something like real estate, for example, where you can use the phone and this gimbal, the clients almost never see what you're actually filming with, and they're actually getting a good end product that they can put up on social media, or they can put out for the world to see, that helps them sell a product, which in this case might be a $1.7 million house. Well, they won't care what you shot it on as long as it looks good. And with this setup, with the wide angle lens and this gimbal, I can honestly say that this actually looks really, really good. Now, is it gonna be as dynamic as using a real camera and a gimbal? No, but it is a great place to start. If you are someone who's on the boat as far as should you invest in a camera or should you invest in a gimbal and all this other stuff, and you really don't have the funds for it, I can honestly say that if you are planning on getting a new phone like the iPhone 11 or 11 Pro, because they both have that wide angle lens on it, doing that with this gimbal can really allow you to do some great work. Honestly, it's hard for me to recommend any sub, oh man, what would I say, maybe $1,200 to $1,500 camera at this point, because if you're gonna spend that kind of money, you're probably better off spending it on a phone at this point that you can shoot with, create with, and then invest the rest of your money into things like lighting and audio and other areas. And if you do get a big paying job where someone really wants to hire you to create something for them, just rent the gear at that point until you can actually buy a really good, you know, $2,000 to $5,000 plus camera that you really want to invest in, a good camera and good lenses. But at today's point in 2019, or towards the end of 2019, I can honestly say that the iPhone 11 Pro or the iPhone 11, especially with those wide angle lenses, are so good. It's actually something you could use to make money. But I know you guys have been waiting. You've been seeing a lot of the footage kind of spliced in here and there. But here is the full edit of this real estate property. let me know what you guys thought of that down below. Obviously, I've only seen the actual images on the back of the phone, but I'm sure it's gonna edit together really, really well. And let me know if you guys have any questions about anything else that I've covered in this video. I'll have links to all the products that I'm using and the products that I actually use, like the Dji Osmo Mobile 3, down below in the descriptions. But thanks so much for checking out this video. Check out some of the other videos that I put out on the channel, and don't think, create, and do it. Peace.